Here's the thing about the gun. It's real simple, but you have to kind of think it through before it makes any sense. I mean, this is me speaking objectively about it, but if you look at the situation, the biggest complaint that people have is that they say, well, Frank, said that they weren't allowed to carry their guns, and then he said they were told not to carry their guns, and this, that, and the other. The situation was simple. Frank lives in California, and for those who live elsewhere in the world, they may not understand that California and Las Vegas aren't right around the corner from each other. They're actually, if you drive it, it's a 5-hour drive, on a good day. It's a, 45-minute to an hour flight. And in the case of Vegas, Frank has his concealed carry permit. He brings his gun. He takes his gun everywhere he goes. When they were told that they couldn't carry their weapons, and I'm going to go with that because that's what everything has been, we've had several people, witnesses tell us that meeting happened. George Police has told them, do not carry guns. You've got a problem because you're kind of stuck in a really weird situation because what are you going to do? If you can't carry the guns on you personally, you're going to have to put the guns someplace. Now, it's not like Frank could just drive home, 10-hour round trip to go put his gun someplace. You're going to leave your gun in one of two places, either the hotel or your car. That's it. That's the only two places. Where else are you going to put it? Can you think of any place? I can't. Most people that I know, anyway, will be more likely to put their gun in their car and lock it up in their car because they have a little bit more control over their car than they do a hotel room that they may or may not be back to at any time soon. And, of course, you hear in Vegas all the time about things being stolen out of hotel rooms. Last thing he wants to have a gun taken. That's it. I mean, those are your two choices. There's no third option here. So he puts his gun in his car. He had planned to take his car over to Club 662 later that night and park the car out in front of by the awning there, if you've ever actually seen the location, because that way it was more of a technicality. If they couldn't carry their gun, at least his gun could be within 5 or 10 feet in case something happened. There was only one guard that absolutely said, I don't care what you say, you can't make me not carry my gun, I'll take my chances, I'm going to carry my gun, and that was Michael Moore. At that point, when you're faced with a decision of where you're going to put your car, you put it in your car. Frank did not have his car, and I don't know if I should say this or not about Frank. I love him to death. He knows that. But Frank is not the guy who would valet park, not usually. Frank is the guy who would go park in the general parking area to save a couple of bucks. That's just Frank. That's how he is, and I love him for that. If you park in the back, and that's where Frank had parked his car, in the back with his gun. When you go in the front door to a casino, you have to walk the entire length of the casino and then the mall that goes along with it, and then through the other shops and out till you get to the back of the property, and that's where all of the parking structures are. They're all behind the casino. So you're talking about on a good day, at the Luxor, even at a brisk pace, a 25-minute walk to get to your car. So on a good day, if you had to get your gun and walk back, you're talking about the better part of an hour it's going to take you to come back. If you get to your car and still drive around, you're still a half hour in. So when the entourage, the fight was over early, they had the whole scuffle with Orlando Anderson, and they went back to the hotel. There was no time for Frank to get his gun, because to get his gun, he would have had to have gotten his car. And to get his car meant he would have had to walk for 25 minutes, and as the bodyguard of the person that you're protecting, it's not like you can stop them and say, you know what, I need to get my gun, so why don't you all go sit over here in valet parking and just wait for me to come back. I'll see you in a half hour. Okay, you see how ludicrous that sounds? So here we have a situation where Frank goes in, he's got to park, he's got his gun, but his gun's nowhere near him because his car's nowhere near him. And when they came out, the first thing on their mind, they all threw their valet tickets at the door and they said, we're going, we're leaving. So they get their cars. The bodyguard's got to stay with the person he's protecting. He can't just summarily leave for whatever reason. He stays there. And they get in the cars. They go up to Shope's house to change clothes, which is still baffling to me. And then from there, he was told to drive Kadada's Lexus and follow the entourage. So from the day they started, there just wasn't an opportunity to go get his gun, and that was largely based on not only the event that happened, but what he was told to do. He wasn't told you had the liberty to get your gun. He just couldn't get it. So it wasn't like he had his gun and he didn't want to have his gun, or he left his gun, and that. It's just really simple. They were told not to carry their weapons. The fact that he said he left his gun in the car, that's an absolutely correct statement, but it doesn't contradict anything, if you know what I mean. The contradiction that people are looking for, the contradiction that people imagine in their mind and they think they're looking for was that he said he had his gun in his car, But then they also were told that they couldn't carry weapons, so he didn't have his weapon on him. And they say, well, what was it? Did you have it or did you not? If you had it, why didn't you use it? You're a bad guard. It's really simple. But you have to kind of get through the whole story to get to that point. It's a lot to tell just